Hi, guys. Thank you for another week of amazing responses. This week, I'm really happy I got a variety of questions that I have answered. I would also like to tell you that I have done a VAT PI preparation video with Ecovation. So, the webinar was there 2 days ago, and you can see the link below in comments. So, have a look at that as well. And I guess let's get into the answers for this week's questions now.
The consulting companies are actually doing record hiring these years. So this year from for summers, Bain took 18 from IIMA, BCG took I think around 13 and McKinsey took 11. However, in finals, the numbers are a bit less compared to these. So the numbers are around 5 for each company. That's how it is at IIMA. This would actually depend on when do you want to get in. So if you have quite a bit of work experience, then I think ISB's program would be better for you because over there the hirers when they come, they kind of see people for different positions. Whereas in IMA, as the crowd has been having a general work ex of 0 to 2 years, the kind of placement opportunities are similar. Then again, you can also compare that IMA is a 2 year investment while ISB is for 1 year. On the other hand, IMA fee would be around 25 lakhs and ISB is 36 plus. So you need to have these pros and cons in mind and based on that decide the best option. For an overall CAT preparation, I would advise you to have a look at one of my strategy videos. I have 1 hour strategy videos with Ecovation and the link would be there in the comments below. So you can have a look at that and then in case you have some specific question pertaining to you, you can again come and ask me. For perseverance, you actually need to have a very well set goal in your mind. Once you have a well set goal, then you can think of the ways you can achieve it. Once you think that you have to achieve that goal, then you can further plan properly and then kind of make a daily plan or a weekly plan of the things that you want to achieve in that particular week and then further divide it on a daily basis. It would even be better if you are able to develop a timetable and stick to it because a timetable in your mind kind of sets your mind clock in that way. So for the next 3 hours you'll be studying so that you can get a break for 1 hour. So these kind of things will help you in the beginning. So I would advise you to make weekly goals and then try and identify how you are going to divide it in several days. Then further, I would advise you that the time when you are studying, you keep all distractions away from you. So as much as possible, keep your phone in a different room. Try and study in a position so that you do not fall asleep, like study using a table and chair instead of on bed. So these are some small things that can help you build up concentration. And once you have that, then it will be easier to continue it. For building vocabulary, World Power Made Easy is a really good book. But apart from that, I would also advise you to read different kind of novels and on a daily basis some editorials. And then whatever new words you find out in a day, say you just grasp 1 or 2 words, try and use them in your vocabulary. Once you use them in your like regular sentences, that is when it will get inculcated in your mind and you will be able to retain it for longer. It is not really in a very linear scale that IMA considers CAT percentiles. It depends on the other scores that you have got. So you have got weightage for the academic score for your work experience probably and a lot more. So I think that if I have to tell you some least CAT percentile, I think in general category it would go up to some around 90 percentile depending on the diversity of the undergraduation course you have done. And how many seats are there for the general category in IMA? So out of a total of 420, I believe around half would be there for the general category. I had all the 3 interviews in Delhi in Indian Habitat Center. And I really do not have any particular favorite questions. Yes, my C interview went really smooth and I liked that interview. I have the transcript of all the 3 interviews on my Quora answer. So you can go ahead on my profile and read the complete interview if you wish to. So during my first day at IMA, after the registration, we had a pedagogy session where we were actually taught about how the case study thing is going to work out in our regular classes. And it was the first time when we had allotted seats and all. The whole seating arrangement was also new to me. And I think it was a really good time, and I liked my room and the dorm and all, and the overall, buildings, etc. They made me feel a different culture than what I had seen at IIT. And yes, our seniors did give us a freshers party, but as it was within the campus only, I mean, I really cannot compare it with the parties we have had in our IIT, had during my IIT Delhi times. So yeah, it was a good enough party, and we had music and a lot of things. So it was fun. I highly doubt that you can say that anything about any person. I think that I mean, if you feel that any person becomes successful or does anything, there are a lot of failures or a lot of cons that the person has to face. So I think all you should do is try and, just figure out the best that you can be. Try and figure out what are the few things that you can change in yourself every single day. And that is what I try to do. I do not always succeed, I fail a lot, but I just have this nudge inside me that, that keeps on going, that, just get better, or, this is something that you can do in a much better way. And that's all I do. So the my current course fee would be around 23 point something lakhs for 2 years. This is minus the exchange cost that I might have to pay when if I want to go and travel to Europe or some other country for my exchange program. Also, minimum and maximum salary, the latest from the latest data, it is around 12 lakhs the minimum, and the max is around actually the mean is around 19 or 20 lakhs, and the max is around 50 lakhs according to the latest data. I am not very sure of the number of recruiters per se, but the latest number of offers that were offered at IIMA were around 400. So I would assume there are at least some 70 to 80 companies that are coming on campus. There are a few recruiters who just visit IIMA, but then, I mean, the major companies in each of these sectors, I would say, visit almost at least the top ABC IIMs for their placements. So you can use your French language certification thing for the gap year in case that is talked about in the interviews. With your current score, probably with very good academics, you might get because you have the reservation quota. However, I think you need to look at the FMS overall scoring method. So you need to ensure that you score because I believe they give higher weightage to VARC. So ensure that those things are covered, and there's a possibility that you get a call from FMS as well. I'm pretty sure you'll get some at least a few calls from different IIMs if you score really well in CAT. The ideal score for the same would be, I mean, the best is to get something above 99. That ways it ensures that you definitely get some calls. So I think you should aim for the best, and then basis on what score you get, then you can further see what calls you have. So the number of questions per topic in quant is actually variable every year. I would say there are definitely some questions on probability, on speed work and all, and geometry definitely. But then again, the number of questions really vary. So I would advise you to cover almost all the topics that you can. Also, if you have this feeling of, body present and mind absent, I would say that you first start with some smaller sessions of studying. So try and study just half an hour at once, and then try and do at least 20 questions in that half an hour. Now, because you have an aggressive target in a small time, it will mostly be that your mind is very active during that time. Then you take a 10-minute break, and then again you do that for half an hour. So that ways you will be able to control your mind from distractions or any kind of daydreaming that you do. Also ensure that you do not have your phone or other things that can distract you further while you are studying. So try and do things like this, and once you have got a grasp, you can then increase your the duration for which you study. So there's an overall sectional cutoff in CAT, which really does not matter if you get calls from different IIMs. Different IIMs have their own cutoff of different sections. So like IIMA, I think latest had around 80 or 85 percentile for each section. That was their cutoff. So even if that you get above 95 percentile overall, but if you have less than 80 percentile in one section, you won't get a call. So this is how it affects during interviews. It kind of affects your calls, but from the information that I have, it is college dependent. So my scale score was 254 point something, and I believe my raw score was 230 something. So this was my score in the CAT exam. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is something that I had the raw score, and I'm pretty sure of it because I was aware of the answers, and also the question paper was also released in my year. However, this is one of the highest scores if I want to compare it with the kind of mocks that I have given. I think my highest mock raw score would be somewhere around 220 or something. While there might not be much fee waiver in terms of your economically backward status, I think that IMA provides one financial assistance. uh, I mean, that is a need based scholarship, and on every individual case basis, they decide how much scholarship amount that they'll provide. Apart from that, there are always some central government or state government scholarships that scholarship forms that come around, and you can always fill those in and try and get into that. It is mostly merit come means basis, all the scholarships criteria. If you feel that you are lacking a lot, even from basics, I think you should start from the basic sets of time material. But I would also advise you not to do all the sets of one topic, because then your mind becomes very accustomed to those kind of questions. And if you get some new mix and match questions of different from different concepts, that it becomes very difficult for you. So do a few questions of, say, arrangements, then do a few questions of distribution, and then kind of go into the intermediate level when you feel that you are able to complete those sets in a decent amount of time. And decent amount of time for a basic set would not be more than 4 or 5 minutes. I believe that your scores in all the three academic background that you have are a bit low. However, because you do belong to OBC category, there's a chance that you might get IIMA call if you score a really high CAT percentile. So if you're aiming for IIM Ahmedabad, I think you will need to study really hard for your CAT examination and score something like 99.5 plus, because I can see that all the three scores are really not up to the mark of what it should be. This is a really difficult thing even for me. So what you can do is that if when you start thinking about things in a way that they're not really going to affect you a lot, I mean, the result is not really going to affect you a lot, and that even without success in that particular endeavor, you are good enough in your life and you'll be doing well enough in your life. Once you have this set in your mind, then your anxiety and nervousness in then your anxiety and nervousness overall becomes less, and that's one way of trying to overcome the fear of failure. See, I gave the advice to have a look at the solutions only when you have tried that question for a while. So when you have tried that question for a while, it is like you have thought a few ways of solving that particular question. Cut the solution manual and see that what is the step where you were unable to think. So this is something that you will need to think. You don't need to know that, I need to think just like the solution manual, etc. So don't just pressurize yourself too much into it. Try and solve the question using your own techniques, but do not invest a lot of time in attempting the question. That's what I said during your practice. That said, that now that it is your fourth attempt in CAT, I believe that there's something you are doing along with preparing for CAT. If you feel that probably it's just possible that this might not be your cup of tea, you can probably invest your energy and your efforts in the endeavor in something. I mean in something else that you think you'll more easily succeed on, or something that is more natural to you, that might come more naturally to you. So this is also one thing you might want to keep in mind. However, for this kind of technique, I would say that you continue solving questions. You try and solve different kind of questions so that you are not faced with similar questions. And in case you are unable to solve them, do look at the solution manual, but then again mark that question and say again in 1 week, solve that question again, and then you will see whether or not you have grasped what the solution manual actually said. Well, the solution should be pretty clear for you. because you know that you are very disciplined and you do take out time from your daily schedule to prepare for CAT. All you need to do is, when you are practicing questions, just give a maximum limit to the time that you'll spend on each question. So say that it's a quant question. Just imagine in the final exam you cannot be giving 15 to 20 minutes to one question. So the maximum amount of time you should give to each question should be not more than 3 minutes. And that's it. Once you have given 3 minutes and you're unable to solve that question, you leave that question and look at the solution and mark that question as unsolved by yourself. And then again, in another week or so, you can try and solve that question again to see whether you remember the solution or not. So this is one thing that you should do, because you will never get 15, 20 minutes or half an hour or 1 hour to your for your quant questions or any other question for that matter. So just even while practicing, keep a timer by your side and know what kind of time you're spending. So you can definitely prepare for CAT in 7 months. It's good enough time. For the overall strategy, I would advise you to go and have a look at my around 1 hour video of CAT strategy that I have done with Ecovation. The link would be there in the comment section. So over there, I have comprehensively covered how to cover all the three sections specifically and what strategies you should use. In case you have got some particular questions later on, you can always come back and ask me over here. Well, obviously, it can be a bit distracting, but I had two things working in my favor. First was that I was really clear on my goal, and when I do set a target for myself, and kind of I set a daily or a weekly target at least. So when I do that, I am not comfortable till the time I do not complete the target that I have set for myself. So that ways I become very focused on the kind of preparation that I am doing. Secondly, my boyfriend at that time was also very helpful for me, very helpful, and he kind of helped me in the question any kind of problems that I had, and also he was not very particular about the amount of time that we should talk or the amount of attention I should provide him, and in that ways it was really very helpful for me that I could invest time in the things that I wanted to. No, I think till the time you have got a bachelor's degree, there would not be much hindrance. In case things like this come up during your personal interview, you can always go ahead and tell them the truth, and it should be fine. It really depends on where you stand in your preparation currently. Even without preparation, some people's ability to solve many questions is really high as compared to others. So it depends. I think you should give a mock test and identify where you stand based on the percentile that you get and the kind of time that you have per day for your practice. Then you can decide the number of questions or the amount of time you need to invest. Yes, I guess you have a good enough academic history. Although your bachelor score is a bit low, but that should still work fine in many IIMs. And because you have no gap and you have work experience, it's a good enough thing that you're doing. And you have scored 88 percentile, I think, with good preparation. And if you want, you can join a coaching institute for that. You will be able to score a good percentile provided you give enough time for your preparation. So good luck for that, and you do stand a good chance. Rather, people with 2 years of work experience have a higher chance of getting into IIMs as compared to freshers. Yes, IIM Indoors program is actually really good for people who are sure that they want to do MBA later in their lives. So I think that a diploma degree won't be really a problem. Even till now, all the IIMs have been issuing diploma degrees only in management and not really the MBA degrees per se. So I think diploma degrees work pretty well in India with all the different companies, and they understand that it is kind of equivalent to MBA only. So you should be fine with it. And that is a really good college. If you do not really want to do that, now in a few years IIMs would start giving out MBA degrees, so you can perhaps do BBA from some other college and then appear for CAT and do MBA from some IIM. So the way it works is that generally there are hardly any people who score full in each of the sections. So the way it works, like suppose LRDI, the maximum marks is 96, and someone has got the highest marks that someone has got is 80. So now how they'll do is that 80 they'll scale to 96. That means they are multiplying their score by 96 that means they are multiplying the score by 96 divided by 80, and this they'll do for all the other people as well. So this kind of scales your raw score to a scaled score, and this they'll do for all the three sections, and then you'll get a combined score by adding up each individual section's scaled score. Hi, I would also love to do that, but I think that I'm really short on time, at least for the next few months, and I am not very sure what kind of time I'll have after that as well. So I guess this is one good platform where you can bring in or chat with me about anything that you want to. So go ahead and just discuss anything that you really would like to. I think thinking of going from 19 percentile to 100 percentile in a month is a bit of a stretch. It takes a lot of time and practice to do that. And for preparation strategy of CAT exam, it is better that you have a look at my 1 hour webinar videos that I have done with Equation on my CAT strategy. So you can find the link in the comments below. And once you have had a look at those, if you feel that there's some particular question that is still unanswered, you can again come back and ask me over here. I really like the quality of teachers that are there in Unacademy. So that is one online lecture website you can go to. Another thing that I liked was when I was giving IMS mocks. So they had this small video clip kind of a thing where they would explain the solution. So that is also something that I really liked, but that is you'll only get the solutions of the mocks or the practice questions that you attempt. If you want to really go for the overall online lectures, you can definitely try the different lectures that you have mentioned, and in case you find them helpful, you can always go ahead and have a look at them. Till the time that you have got easy access and free access to them, there's no harm in having a look at them. While I would not say perfect, but I think if you want to go through just online coaching, if you want to get some kind of study material as well, that too online, I think Byju's and Unacademy are two institutes wherein you could invest some kind of time or money. If you would rather like a correspondence course with online assistance, then Time and IMS are really good coachings. This would depend on where you are located, but I believe Time for me was really good. Time Chandewala was a very good center with excellent professors, and I like the quality of AIMCATs as well. I also like the IMS test series, which is something that if you want, you can take up. I would say that time material, along with the notes that you might make in the time classes, are more than sufficient. And there are so many questions over there. It's really not. It's really not useful that you buy a lot of different books because you'll not be able to solve all those questions anyway. And I did mock test series with Time. I also did a few tests of IMS. I had bought the test series with my friend, and I really like those as well. I really like there's this thing called application builder wherein you can practice questions, and there's a timer for these practice questions as well. So this is something that I liked in the IMS setup. So it would not be possible for me to make videos for Quant or VARC currently because I am currently studying in IIM Ahmedabad and we have quite a bit of rigorous schedule over here. That said, if you're unable to solve the material questions, I think you can always approach your professors or the teachers that are there in your coaching institute and they'll be able to help you with that. If not, just identify people within your batch who are also solving the material and then you can discuss the solutions over there. So that is something that might help you. Also, there are many online videos if you want for some particular quant topic. There might be videos from Unacademy at least, if not anything else. So you can have a look at those as well. I think if you want to understand the overall strategy and approach for CAT preparation, it would be better if you have a look at the webinar I have done with Equation on the overall CAT strategy. It is around a 1 hour webinar and you might find it useful. The link would be there in the comments below, so you can have a look at that. And once you have done that, in case you still have some impending questions, you can always come back and ask me over here. I strongly believe that you can, with a percentile of 99 plus, get a call at IIMA because your academic history seems decent and you are from a non-engineering background, so you will also get the benefit of being from a diversity academic background. So I think yes, it is possible for you to get a call. This basically means that you need to increase your concentration when you are studying. This might be happening probably either because you are daydreaming or something, or because you're getting distracted time and again by your phone or by something else. So I would advise you to go into a silent environment wherein you can study. Try and study like while sitting on a chair and using a table instead of sitting on bed, wherein you can get very sleepy very quickly. Also keep your phone in some other room, or just ensure that you're not distracted. Once that is done, I would advise you to keep a timer that, for 30 minutes, I don't have to think about anything else. I just have to study. So, starting with something like this, then you can further build up and increase the duration of your studying time. Well, there are no majors per se in IIMs currently. So we have a common course for everyone in our first year. And in second year, based on our interests, we can take some different topics from different fields. So based on that, I think I'm going to take more topics in the strategy field because I'm thinking of a career in consulting. And yeah, that is mostly how it works. See, I know it is a really big deal in IIT Delhi, especially to be coordinator of rendezvous and all. I would say that do not really lose a lot of focus from your studies. Yes, extracurriculars and POR matter in consulting, but that is generally just in shortlisting. In general management, also, say once you get into IIM, for all the general management companies, they would like to have a lot of PORs in your resume. But that said, these things just don't add things to your resume. These things also kind of shape your personality in some way. So in both the PORs that I had in Rendezvous and in the placement cell, I really learned a lot of different things and learned a lot of teamwork as well. So in case that you have a good interest for something, you can go ahead and build your extracurriculars over there. And in case you do not, you feel that you can do a good POR somewhere, I think you should definitely take up something along with your studies, because at least in IIT, you can really focus on your studies as well as on these different things and handle all of those very well. Yes, it is beneficial that you read novels. Now that you have quite a bit of time before your exam, so you can read novels one per month. That will help you. The kind of novels that you should read should be from a wide variety. So do not just read, say you like thrillers, so just do not just read thrillers. Also read some non-fiction novels, or some kind of different novels that you might not really pick up generally. And also do keep on solving RCs, but I would also advise you to read editorials also. Editorials come in a variety of topics, and that can also help you a bit with your RCs. It's not that IIMs don't take people with a gap year, provided that you can give an explanation for your gap year during your interview. I think that is more than enough. Your 10th, 12th grad scores seem more than decent, and you have got a good work experience. So, I mean, I don't think that you get to decide at this point which IIMs you should be targeting, frankly. So, you should really start and work towards your CAT score. If you get a really good score, there'll be multiple IIM calls that you'll have. So, I don't think it's really up to you on, at least at this position, on what IIMs you should be targeting. So, work towards your CAT exam. And once you have that in hand, then further you can prepare for your interviews. I was enrolled in the weekend classes batch of Time Jhandewala, and I did not really use the material that I was given over there because I did not have a lot of time. I was working full time, and I just went to the classes on the weekends and revised that my notes, etc., for the final preparation. So, interviews are mostly revolve around what you have done in your life. So, it's not, I mean, obviously, it could be helpful if you have got a special talent, you can talk about it a lot. But even I was a BTech student, and I did not really specialize in any of the extracurricular activities. So, I think it's fine till the time you are aware of and you know what are your strengths and what you have done. You have enough knowledge about what you have done in your life that will like make your interview better. I think it is time that you start the test series right now so that you can overall track your performance and your scores. Secondly, if you're weak in quant, I would say that once you have understood the concepts, first create a formula sheet of yourself. Just like, see, I have a sample formula sheet up there on my Quora page. And using those formulae, just try and revise why are the few questions you're getting wrong? Why is that happening? So that will slowly and gradually develop your skills. Also, I would not advise you to do very, very difficult questions for practicing quant. You can, at max, you can try the difficult questions. That said, once you know that this question you were not able to do by yourself, you can mark that question and then come back to it probably 1 week or 2 weeks later and see if you remember the technique that was used in that question. So that ways you will learn a lot of different techniques. I would not advise you to do any more preparation material because the material provided by Time or any other coaching institute is more than enough and it contains all the questions. Once you start doing mocks or online sectionals, you get even more questions to practice with.
So these are all the questions that we have for this week. I just want to say one thing that the next few days I'm extremely busy. So even though I will release a video next weekend, I really hope I'm able to cover all the questions that I get. Another thing I would want to ask you all is that please let your friends know about this platform because I am being contacted by a lot of people on Instagram, Quora, and Facebook. It would be really helpful if all of them can ask me questions over here so that I can really easily answer all the questions that I get. So that's it. I hope you like my answer and they help you. All the best for your GD and PI. Good luck.